I have a lot of gifts and talents, but one of them is not singing. If I were able to sing, I would be singing Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles, but I can't. I'll spare you that. But I do have some things to say about the sun in a minute, so hold on. Hey, I'm Dr. Patty Barch. I'm a traditional naturopath, founder and owner of Naturally Unbridled Wellness and naturallyunbridled.com, where we focus on wellness solutions, not disease management. This is Down the Ridge with Dr. Patty, where I give you 7 to 10 minutes of holistic life and wellness information on my way to work. This is not medical advice. It's for entertainment purposes only. Nothing I say is true. Don't listen to me. Several years ago, a friend of mine said, hey, you should follow this guy on YouTube. He's got some interesting stuff to say. And so I went over, I checked out his page. I'm like, he does have some interesting stuff to say. And I started following him. The channel is called Suspicious Observers, and the O is a 0, but it doesn't matter because they have enough followers that if you search Suspicious Observers, it'll come up. So the guy is, I don't know, his profession is to track what's going on the sun. Now, if you follow me on social media, you'll see that on occasion I post some information about what's going on. I subscribe to text alerts for solar activity because I have clients who are significantly impacted by solar activity, and I need to know when that's going on so that if they have a setback or a flare, I can say like, solar activity was going on. And so why does that matter? Okay, so the sun is a big ball of fire, and fire is a form of energy. And there's a lot to know about the sun, and I don't consider myself an expert, but like I said, I've been following this guy for about 5 years, so I know a few things, and I've been paying attention. So the sun can, because it's a fire, it can have sparks. And anything that's burning is kind of in motion, right? And sometimes a spark can be ejected from the sun, and that's called a coronal mass ejection. So a little poof of the fire is called a solar flare. And then if a piece of the sun comes off from that solar flare, that spark, that spark is called a coronal mass ejection. Now the sun, 360 degrees all around, it can have sparks and flares on any part of the sun, but sometimes the part of the sun that is facing the earth will flare and spark and send a coronal mass ejection in the direction of the earth. And this is something to pay attention to. Well documented, the earth has a protective layer, the magnetic shield, so to speak. And what will happen is the energy from the sun will hit the earth's magnetic shield, and that the magnetic shield will deflect a lot of those energy particles that are headed in our direction. You can see this by solar flares or aurora, not solar flares, northern lights or aurora. So to the person who always feels compelled to say the sun is constant and it doesn't spit and flare and all the things, like aurora, enough said. Okay, so when the earth gets hit with all this energy, it impacts things that are energetic. So definitely technology. So I don't know about you, but we've been having a ton of large solar flares in the past couple of weeks, with a huge uptick in the past few days. And we have noticed at our office that our software that our office runs on has been extremely glitchy, and phones are being glitchy as well. So these are just minor inconveniences. Takes long for a page to load, or your phone isn't getting text, or you can't get a signal, or that sort of thing. These are minor inconveniences. However, we have had 4 large solar flares that are earth facing. Sorry, I'm adjusting my temperature here. In the past few days. And so when they happen immediately, we have an energetic connection to the sun. So a lot of people will feel it at the moment of the solar flare. And of course we feel it because we have electrical parts of our body, like our heart is electrical, our brain is electrical, like nerve conduction is electrical. So of course, it can impact us. And so I can have clients who have been dealing with heart palpitations that are really well managed, that all of a sudden they have like this huge, actually, I just thought of a client that I should reach out to and just let her know the solar flares are a big deal right now. Because she usually has a little episode of heart palpitations when the solar activity is high, and it's been exceptionally high in the past couple days. Also, people who get migraines, people who have seizures, people who get ringing in the ears, like this can all be exacerbated by what's going on the sun. So I pay attention to it. If you're looking for a resource besides Suspicious Observers, Space Weather News, I think it's .com, is another good resource. It's really geeky, and the Suspicious Observers can be pretty geeky too, but it's good information, and if you watch enough of it, you just pick up on some things. So why am I doing the video about the sun today when I was planning on doing a video about avocados? Well, I want people to just understand that this level of solar energy that is due to hit the earth sometime between Friday and Saturday, with maybe even more going into Sunday. They're actually going to update the report a little bit later today. They're still tracking these coronal mass ejections. It's probably going to impact technology more significantly than it has in the past. So why is this a concern? Well, of course, there's the whole grid thing, right? Don't go too crazy about that. But also, it can be as simple as you can't make a purchase with your credit card because the software for the credit card processing isn't working, or the internet goes glitchy, and everybody's business runs on the internet these days, right? You can't take a payment, you can't book an appointment, all of those things could happen. So what am I going to do? I'm going to top off my gas tank. I'm probably just going to make sure I have enough, some supplies on hand. I'm not going to wrap myself in a Faraday cage, but maybe that's a mistake. I don't know. But I'm just going to be prepared. So last night there were some severe storms that went through Tennessee. A tornado came within a mile of my brother's house, and a giant tree fell at my parents' house. The tree hit one of their vehicles, but it looks like it's probably just a bunch of scratches. However, it's a big oak tree. It's giant. It's basically taking up their whole driveway. Because that tree is in the way, they can't back one of their vehicles out of the garage so that they can get their generator out so that they can have power to support their refrigerator, keep their cell phones charged. And the neighbor told them that the main road to their, to their neighborhood is blocked by a ton of trees that fell. So it's just kind of a note, an alert to just be prepared for stuff. My parents are prepared. They have a generator, they have fuel for the generator, but crap, they can't get the generator out of their house. So hopefully some of the neighbors will help my dad to move some of the tree branches so that they can at least get their generator going, because they're in Tennessee and I'm in Minnesota. But it's always good to just have a few things prepared, right? If you get an advance notice, there's a big storm front coming, it's not a bad idea to make sure that you have bottles of water in your freezer so that any leftover space in your freezer is filled with ice when that water freezes, so that if you do lose power, that ice can help to keep the freezer cold longer. Keeping your gas tank filled, having an extra can or jar or whatever, bottle of propane on hand, like making sure you have food for your pets, that sort of thing. So anyway, this is not a oh crap, head for the bunker kind of message, but it is a message that I think it makes sense to just pay attention to what's happening in nature that could impact our technology and how we live from day to day. So peace out, peeps. Have a healthy day. Let the sun shine in.